Go to TAPgiles.com to learn dreams, engage my services, and support the channel.
Time fun. So this will be kind of like a separate mechanic, basically. This will be rewinding and playing, manipulating time sort of thing. So I'll just have a timeline. And I'll print to the screen, and then I'll animate these moving back and forth. Okay. I think for now I'll just have these be separate timelines. So let's make a chip, and I'll control them all at the same time, but this will make it a little bit more interesting on the puzzle side. I don't want these to actually move, so for now I'll just put the playback speed on 0. So they won't actually move anywhere, and then we'll use buttons to like make it increase time and decrease time and stuff. So actually we don't need these to loop at all, because we're going to increase time and decrease time manually. Okay, so we're going to use a timer, and this has like a number of different modes, but it has this timer output, and we can wire that into the playhead of a timeline. So if we just play it, if we put it onto a countdown mode, now it's going backwards, and count up, and now it's going forwards, and so on. Or we can use speed mode. So if we set it to speed mode and send it a value of 1, it's going to be going forwards 1 second per 1 second. And if we have a value 0.3, it will be going 30% of normal speed. And we can give it a negative number, and then it will be going backwards in time. So we want to do that with some controls on the player. Let's have a couple of tags in here. So time moves forward, and this will be time moves backward. And cool, so now if we go to the player, we can send those signals through a trigger zone. So if we have that look for time forward, and in the scene, and because it doesn't matter where it is really, then while this trigger zone is on, this the face of this becomes dark, and it sends a signal out of this tag output. So we can just wire that in there for now, and power this timeline when you hold R1, for example, like that. So now if I go over here and I press R1, it's playing time just on that first one. That's the only one who got hooked up. But now we want to be able to subtract time. So there's a little trick you can use with a combiner gadget. A combiner can take in, so if we go on here, you can take in multiple inputs and then output one wire called a fat wire with all those inputs kind of braided in. You can see a fat wire there actually, with lots of different colours. But if you leave it on the default mode of signal, it has a plus and a minus, or positive and negative. So if you put that into there, it will add 1 while I'm holding R1, and then put that into here, and it will subtract 1 while I'm holding L1, or whatever I choose that to be. So I'll just set that up. So we have the trigger zone looking for time backward, being powered when I hold L1. So that will send a signal from time backward and subtract 1 from the combiner, and then we'll use the result. So if I'm holding both of them, then it'll cancel out. It will be +1 -1 is 0. If I just hold L1, it will be -1. If I just hold R1, it will be +1. So it'll affect that speed. Okay, so let's go over here. So R1 plays it and L1 rewinds it. So now I can go back and forth like that. So let's just wire that into these as well. And now we've got our second puzzle, which is like finding the point where they cross. So really I want this middle one to be more kind of lopsided. So that's where you want to jump onto this, but then I want that one to be not in the right spot yet. So I'll put that there. So jump onto the first one, and then you want to like jump onto the second one there. And let's make the third one lopsided over the other side. So that you have to kind of think about it. They don't line up perfectly at any point in time. And like that. And then from the final one, you've got to put it back over here, maybe. So let's just copy that and then hop off there. So let's see if we can get that to work. Just put it back into possessible mode and see if we can solve our puzzle. Okay, so let's go forwards a bit. And we might want to turn the footsteps off for that character. Okay, so let's, there we go. And then rewind time to go over here. Yay! And that was a bit hairy. But there you go. Maybe you can like add an effect when you're fast forwarding and rewinding time. So like get a grade gadget. Have some yeah, a bit of VHS going on. So that'll work when we're on rewinding or fast forwarding. And we probably want these mechanics to only work in this area, because messing with these things when you're not even close is probably not very useful. So I'll just put a trigger zone there. Okay, and then we'll just make it a big box around this area. Okay, and then that will look for a tag in here that tells it it's able to do that stuff. So let's just make another tag called timey. So that looks for the timey tag, and when it's found, then we can power this stuff. So if we just put that into a chip, it'll work the same, but it'll only do anything while this chip is powered. So the tag will power that chip. So only when you're in that area will the tag send a signal, and so only when you're in that area will you be able to use these mechanics. So L1 and R1 don't do anything. Let's go over here. And now it does work, so maybe we'll have that work while you're able to use the mechanics, for example, so the player has some idea of what's going on. Okay. Yay. 3 exclamation marks, because you're just so cool. You got all the way to the end. I think to make this, to make it extra cool, I'm going to do a thing that is completely unnecessary. Yeah, and the final piece is just there. So we got 1, 2, 3 pieces. And essentially we're going to just make them movable. So they kind of fall about the place. But we're going to record that motion using my patent pending transform recording technique. So hang on to butts, rewind time, see if he says hello. Yay, I did it. And then let's just unlock them all. Yay, I got a whoop-de-doo. And then that one. No, both of them, and it's exciting. And finally try this one over here. Runtime. And then that. And then rewind time. Puzzle solving, yay! And that's that. So there's some timey-wimey stuff for you to think about and make some cool games with. If you fancy tagging me in the description so I know what cool stuff you made.
Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something interesting. Go to patreon.com/TAPgiles to learn something new every day.